So for today, we will be seeing with the second type of tissue, which is called as a connective tissue. Okay. So from the word itself, it is that type of specialized type of tissue which helps in connecting the various parts or organs of the body. Okay. So that's why it is also called as a connective tissue. So under the connective tissue also, we have so many different types, which we will discuss one by one. Okay. Is it visible?
No, ma'am.
Slides, it's not visible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Now
Yes,
it's
ma'am. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today we'll see with the connective tissue. Okay, so what is connective tissue? Actually, this connective tissue, compared to the other tissue, it is the most abundant. That means it is the mostly found type of tissue in our body. Okay, so in the connective tissue, actually, what happened? They have so many fibers, and in between them also, we have so many cells. Okay, okay, this one I think I have discussed. Okay, just briefly, last time we have discussed about the cells also, right? So the cells also, all these cells, actually all this fibroblasts, fat cells, macrophages, leukocytes, and mast cells also I have discussed in the previous class. So if you see all over the connective tissue, you will be finding these type of cells. They will be embedded in in so many forms of the tissue. If you still remember, fibroblast cells, these are those cells which are mostly related to it helps in repairing the tissue, or it helps in clotting, okay, whenever you have any injury. And fat cells, it helps mostly in thermal production or heat production. Macrophages, it acts as a phagocytic, that means it helps in the body defense mechanism where it will kills any foreign materials, okay. And leukocytes are also called as the white blood cells, which are very important part of your immune system. And the mast cells also, they also helps in the producing two types of substance, which is called histamine and heparin. Okay, so histamine usually helps in during any allergic reactions, and histamine helps in prevention of any coagulation of blood. Okay, so that is the main reason why our blood doesn't become clotted. Okay, because of the presence of histamine. So heparin, sorry. So today's class we will see with the types of connective tissue. So under the connective tissue, actually we have these types. We have the loose connective tissue, we have the adipose tissue, the lymphoid tissue or the reticular tissue, dense connective tissue, cartilage, bone, and fluid connective tissues. Okay, so we'll be seeing each and every types of connective tissues one by one. Okay. So let us, this is just a diagram of the connective tissue and where it is mostly found. Okay, so all this we will be discussing each and every part separately. Okay. So the first one, it is called as a loose connective tissue or the areolar tissue. Okay, so this among all the parts types of connective tissue, this is the most commonly found types of your connective tissue. Okay, so the matrix usually, if you see from the diagram itself, it is semi-solid and it contains fibroblasts. Fibroblasts, like I've said, these are those type of cells which usually helps in the clotting, or it helps in the prevention or in repairing of any injury. So it is a very important cells which really helps during wound healing. Okay, if you have any injury or cut, so this is the cells which really helps in your wound healing. And not only fibroblasts, it also have fat cells, okay, which in other name of fat cells, it is also called as adipocytes. Okay, if you remember in the previous class, this has also been discussed. They also have mast cells, macrophages, which are widely separated by the elastic and the collagen fibers. Okay, so elastic fibers, actually these are those fibers which helps in the elasticity, okay, or in when we need to move, or when we need to move our body part or stretching and all. So these are those, this elastic type of fibers, actually they really helps from the word itself. Okay, so it helps in the movement or elasticity. And collagen, so collagen fibers, these are those type of fibers which really helps in the wound healing. Okay, so where it is mostly found, this loose connective tissue, we usually found it in almost every part of the body, okay, providing elasticity and the tensile strengths. Okay, so for example, in your bone also, it is that part of the body which really helps in the body movement, okay, the joints of your bone. So in these areas where we have to have lots of movement, lots of strength, okay, so in these type of our body parts, we usually get this loose connective tissue. Okay, so loose connective tissue, it have those type of cells which is the fibroblasts, fat cells, mast cells, macrophages, and they have fibers like elastic and collagen fibers. Okay, so where it is usually seen, okay, so if you see sites, so in which part of the body where we usually found this loose connective tissue, so it is usually found under the skin. Okay, that is the main reason whenever you get any cut or injury in your skin also, what happened immediately, it used to get heals by itself. Okay, then we have it in between the muscles, because the muscles also, they are that part of the body which really helps in your body movement. Okay, muscles and joints together, they used to help in your body movement, supporting the blood vessels and the nerves. Okay, because those are also important part of the body which really helps in wound healing. That is the area where we need lots of collagen fibers if you have any injury in the blood vessels. So in order to stop, okay, the bleeding or to prepare it, we need this connective tissue. Okay, it is found in the alimentary canal. Whenever we say alimentary canal, it means your digestive system. I think your ma'am also, I think she have started, right? Digestive system. Okay, so this actually it will be taught later. Okay, digestive system. So it is the other name of your alimentary canal, means it is digestive system. Okay, it is also found in all those glands supporting the secretory cells. So this is about your loose connective tissue. Okay, so next we'll move on with the adipose tissue. So adipose tissue, actually what happened, these are those type of tissue which contains lots of fat cells, okay, or the adipocytes. If you can see from the diagram itself, it have only fat cells. And what happened, these adipose tissue actually, they really helps in our body or thermal production, because actually what happened, fat is really help in heat production. Okay, it helps in producing heat, in maintaining the body temperature, as well as it helps in keeping the individual warm or producing the thermal heat production. Okay, and in this adipose tissue we usually found this large fat globules, as you can see from the diagram itself, those yellow colors. So those are fat globules, that means round, okay, shape of fats. Okay, and these are found in the matrix of alveolar tissue. So this is it about the adipose tissue. And again, this adipose tissue, or your this one, it is also being divided into white and brown. Okay, so adipose tissues, it is called as white adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue. Okay, so when we say white adipose tissue, what is this? This white adipose tissue, actually it is mostly found in the adult individual. Okay, it consists of about 20 to 25% of the body weight in a well nourished adults. Okay, and it is usually found supporting the kidneys, the eyes, between the muscle fibers and under the skin, where it acts as a thermal insulator. Okay, thermal means your temperature, body temperature. Okay, so it helps really in keeping our body warm. Okay, it also helps in reducing energy. It also helps as a source of energy. Okay, so this, and this, besides where it is mostly seen, it is just in the deeper layer of the skin, buttocks, breast, and around the kidneys. Okay, so this is about the white adipose tissue. So just remember, this white adipose tissue, it is mostly seen in all our adult individual. Okay, so we have, it makes up about 20 to 25% of the body, and it is found in all those sites. Okay, when we say brown, okay, what is the difference between white and brown is that brown, we mostly found it in the newborn. Newborn means these are newborn babies. Okay, so for newborn babies, we usually get the brown adipose tissue. Okay, and they have a more extensive capillary network. That means when we say more extensive capillary network, that means they will have more blood vessels, more arteries, okay, than the white adipose tissues. It produces less energy, but what happened, they are producing more heat. Because what happened, newborn babies, actually when they are, okay, immediately this, when they, after they are born, they are very prone, or they are very having a high chance of hypothermia. Whenever we say hypothermia, actually it is that it is a process in which the body temperature, it goes down below normal. Actually, a normal human being or body temperature should be 98.6 Fahrenheit. Okay, so this also, when you'll be learning your vital signs, you'll be knowing more in detail about this. Okay, so what happens, so newborn babies, because they are just newly born, and they are, even their body system also is not fully developed. Okay, so what happens, so that is the main reason, so they are having high chance of that the body temperature, they might, it might goes down. So in order to maintain that, That is the main reason. So we have this brown adipose tissue, and the brown adipose tissue actually they are they are producing more heat and less energy. Okay, as compared to the white adipose tissue, and it is also some in some extent it is also present in some adults, but not in every adult individual. Okay, so this is about your adipose tissue. Okay, so adipose tissue, it consists of your fat cells and it is divided into your white and your brown. Okay, so white, which consists about 20 to 25% of the body weight. Okay, and it is found mostly around the kidneys, around the eyes, muscle fibers, in the deeper layer of the skins. Okay, breast, around the kidneys, all those. And if you say your brown, it is mostly found in the newborn baby. And this brown, it produces less energy, but it produces more heat. Okay, and in some adults also we can see some amount of this brown adipose tissue. Okay, so this is about the loose connective tissue and the adipose tissue. So the next we will move on with the third type, which is called as the lymphoid or the reticular tissue. Okay, so this actually what happens, why it is called as reticular tissue, it is mostly because in this type of tissue we mostly found this reticulin fibers. Okay, so that is the main reason that it is also called as the reticulin reticular tissue. Okay, so it contains the reticular cells, reticulin fibers, and also the white blood cells. So white blood cells like your monocytes and lymphocytes. White blood cells means these are those, like I've said, these are those cells which really helps in the these are those cells which really helps in fighting against any forms of infection. Okay, and related to all this white blood cells also you'll be learning more in details when you learn about the immunity. Okay, and where it is mostly seen, okay, this reticular tissue, we found it mostly in the lymph nodes. Why lymph nodes? Actually what happened, because our limbs, it is that area of the body which really helps in the carrying all this, involving in the immunity and all. Okay, and also it is also found in all organs of the lymphatic system. Okay, so this lymph nodes, lymphatic system, also you'll be learning in your another chapter separately. We have one unit also in your anatomy which is called as the lymphatic system. Okay, so this lymph is also actually, lymphatic system also is also like, it is also like a, it is like a fluid which is found all over the body. Okay, so this is about your lymphoid or the reticular tissue. So just remember here, mostly we are seeing what type of cells. We are seeing the reticular cells and the white blood cells. And where it is found in the lymph nodes as well as in all organs of the lymphatic system. Okay. So next we will move with the fourth one, which is called as the dense connective tissue. Okay. So what happens? What is the main difference between the dense and the loose connective tissue is that in the dense connective tissue, we are seeing more fibers and they have a very less cells, like cells in the sense like your macrophages, your mast cells, fibroblasts, all those. Okay. Somebody please mute your microphone. Whose microphone is on? Please mute, okay? Otherwise it's disturbing the class. So in this dense connective tissue, actually what happened? It have more fibers and it have this less cells. And again, this dense connective tissue, it is being divided into the fibrous tissue and the elastic tissue. Okay. So as a word itself, fibrous tissue, actually these are those tissue which really helps in the wound repairing. Okay, they will have lots of collagen and all. And elastic tissue, these are those which really helps in your elasticity and all, in which these type of tissue, they will have lots of elastic fibers. Okay, so this is the fibrous tissue. So this tissue, it is made up mainly of closely packed bundles, if you can see from the diagram. So we have bundles of collagen fibers with a very little matrix. Okay, and in this, what type of cells we can see? We can see is the fibrocytes, okay, or the fibroblasts. Why? Because fibroblasts, they are those cells which really helps in the wound healing. So that is the main reason why this tissue is also called as the fibrous tissue, because it contains fibroblasts. Okay, these are few in numbers and are usually found lying in rows in between the bundles of the fibers. If you can see from the diagram, so those thread-like structures, those are your collagen fibers. Okay, they are lying in a very close pack. Okay, and in between them we have the fibrocytes or the fibroblasts. Okay, so this is how it is being arranged. So this is all about your fibrous tissue. Okay, so where it is seen, where you can see this fibrous tissue. Okay, so it is mostly found in forming ligaments. Actually, what is ligaments? Ligaments, they are a band of elastic tissue. Okay, for example, I'll show you the diagram. So if you can see from the first diagram of the bone, we have the all those ligaments. Okay, so ligament, actually what happens, it helps in joining one bone to another bone. Okay, so it helps in joining them. So these are, as you can see, this is a I'm just giving this diagram just to make you understand a brief idea what is a ligament. Okay, so ligament, actually it helps in joining one bone to another bones. So this also you'll be learning more in details when you will study your musculoskeletal system. Okay, then it is also found as an outer protective covering for the bones called the periosteum. Okay, periosteum, you can, if you can see from the second diagram, okay, second diagram where we have a small bone. So in that, the outer covering of the this one of the bone, it is actually called as a periosteum. So in these type also we usually found this one fibrous tissue. Okay, then it also acts as an outer protective covering of some organs like the kidneys, the lymph nodes, the brain. So in these type uh, of these organs also we usually found this fibrous tissue. Okay, it also acts forming. It also form as a muscle sheets. Sheet means it is also like a covering. It is called as a muscle fascia, which extends beyond the muscles to become the tendons. So whenever we say tendons, actually these are also those type of elastic tissue which helps in binding or joining. Okay, but the tendon is that it helps in combining, joining the muscles to the bones. Okay, that is the main difference. When we say ligaments, that means it helps in joining the bone, one bone to another bone. But when we say tendon, it helps in joining one bone to bones to the muscles. Like for example, in the third diagram below, if you can see from here, so that is a tendon. So a tendon, it helps in joining the muscles and the bone. Okay, so in these areas we usually found this fibrous tissue. Okay, clear? Okay, so we'll move on with the next one, which is called as your elastic tissue. Okay, so actually elastic tissue, because of the word itself, so this tissue, it really helps in extension and it also helps in recoiling. Like if you, for example, an elastic rubber band, in that way. Okay, that is the same manner. Even this elastic tissue, it functions in the same manner. Like how if you have an elastic band, if you extend it, then again it will recoil back, right? It helps in extension and recoiling. So there are very few cells, and matrix consists mainly of masses of elastic fibers secreted by the fibroblasts. Okay, and where we usually see this elastic tissues, it is seen in large blood vessels walls, the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs. So these trachea, bronchi, and the lung, these are actually all part of the respiratory system. Okay, so these are those areas where we usually found this elastic tissue. So remember, in elastic tissue, we usually see is we have mainly is the elastic fibers. Okay, and they are mostly seen in the blood vessels, the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs, which is your all these trachea, bronchi, and lungs. Like I've said, these are all parts of your respiratory system. So this also, you when you learn your respiratory system, you'll be learning more in detail. Okay, so you will know. So this is about the dense connective tissue. Anyone have any question till now? We have seen 4 types of connective tissue. Okay, till date. What are those? Still remember? First one is what? Yes.
White adipose.
Huh?
Loose connective tissue.
Yes, very good. Loose connective tissue. And next is
Adipose tissue.
Adipose
adipose.
tissues.
White and brown. Yes or no? White adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue. Then the next one is what? Third one?
Lymphoid tissue.
Yes, lymphoid tissue. Okay, or the reticular tissue, which consists lots of their reticulin fiber, reticulin cells. Okay, all those, and your white blood cells. Then the fourth one, which we have discussed just now, it is called as your dense connective tissue.
Dense
Okay,
connective.
and the dense connective tissue, they have few cells and they contain more fibers. Fibers, it can be your this one collagen fibers, which helps in mainly in your wound healing, or it can be your elastic fibers, which really helps in elasticity. Okay, so again the fibrous tissue also, this is the diagram, and we have the cells, which is mostly found here is a fibroblast. And this is the area where it is usually found in the ligaments as a covering of the bone, which is called as a periosteum. It covers some organs like your kidney. It also covers the muscles. Okay, it is found in the tendons, which I have already shown in this diagram. Okay, first, second, and third diagram. Then elastic tissue, it is usually consists of elastic fibers. And elastic tissue, as the word itself, the name itself, so it just really helps in elastation or extension, okay, and recoiling, just like a rubber band, okay. So it is usually found in all those sites, okay. So next we will move on with the cartilage, okay. So actually cartilage is also, it is firmer than any other connective tissues, and the cells which are mostly found here, they are called as the chondrocytes, and they are usually found in a very less number, okay. So firmer in the sense they are not, okay, this cartilage actually it is they are not like strong, or they doesn't have that much strength, okay, as compared to the other connective tissue. They are a bit firm. And in this type of all cartilage, we have usually, we are the what cells which is usually present is the chondrocytes. And again, this cartilage, again, actually it is being divided into three parts, okay. It has got this one, hyaline cartilage, fibrocartilage, and the elastic fibrocartilage. Okay, so under the cartilage, again, it is being subdivided into three: hyaline, fibro, and elastic fibrocartilage. Okay, so let's see what is these one by one. So the first one is called as a hyaline cartilage. Okay, so it is what? It is a smooth bluish white tissue, if you can see from the diagram. So it is a smooth bluish white. And the chondrocytes, how they are arranged in a very small groups. If you can see from the diagrams, they are in pack, okay, like 3, 4 of them or 5 of them, they are arranged in that group. And they are also within it, it acts as a nest, okay, like how, so it is arranged in that way. And the matrix, it is solid and smooth, okay. So what is the main function actually of this hyaline cartilage? It provides flexibility, okay, support and smooth surfaces for the movement in the joints, okay. So these are usually helps in all those. Then what are the sites where it is usually found? It is found on the end of the long bones that form the joints. Okay, long bones actually, this also, if you, when you learn the musculoskeletal system, you will be learning more in details about the long bones. Okay, which is your femur bones, which is the longest bones in our body. Okay, then it also forms the costal cartilage, which attach the ribs to the sternum. Okay, this is also ribs. I think you all know, right? Ribs, you know, sternum is that I okay. The you please go when you after the class, you just go and search internet. Okay, the diagram of the sternum and the ribs. I forgot to show you. Okay, ribs. You know where is the ribs? Yes or no? Any idea? Ribs.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
right? So in your chest, you have now like bony area where which actually the
Yes,
ribs,
ma'am.
what happened? The ribs, it protects all your internal organs inside, where we have your heart, okay, your liver, and also all those are being protected with the ribs. Okay, I think everyone knows. And the sternum is the middle one. Okay, if you remember, if you have a collarbone, okay, okay. So if you this one, if you feel your collarbone, sorry. So in the collarbone, in the middle of the collarbone, we have one. If you feel, we have one small bone type, which extend from, okay, it is till, it will extend from just below the neck, okay, till not fully that middle bone that is actually called as a sternum, okay, which, and this sternum actually it is in the middle and it attach both ribs, okay. So in those type of area also we usually found this hyaline cartilage, okay. And it also helps, similarly it is found in the larynx, okay, which is also a part of your respiratory system, the trachea and the bronchi. Okay, so this is actually about your hyaline cartilage. So this hyaline cartilage, actually what happens, it is a smooth bluish white tissue, and usually what cells they have is the chondrocytes. And all the cells are arranged in a very small pack together, if you can see from the diagrams, like a nest, okay, within a nest type. And also the matrix is a solid matrix, which is already shown there also. And where it is usually, what is the main function? It helps in flexibility, okay, as well as supporting and smooth movement of the smooth surfaces, movement of the joints. Okay, so it is usually found at the end of the long bone. Then it also helps forming the costal cartilage, which attach the ribs to the sternum, and it is also forming in a different, in the parts of the larynx, trachea, and the bronchi. Okay. Then the fibrocartilage is second type. So, so remember, okay, whenever you hear the word fibro or fibrous, just remember in these type, what we will have is the collagen fibers. Okay. And whenever you hear the word elastic, just what type of fiber you will always found is the elastic fibers. Okay. So this will be more easy for you to remember. Okay. So whenever there is a word fibro or fibrous, that means in these type of tissue or cartilage, whatever it may be, they will always have what they will have is the this one collagen fibers. And whenever you hear the word elastic, that means they will have lots of elastic fibers. Okay. So here also what happens, it consists of dense masses. It have white collagen fibers in a matrix similar to that of a hyaline cartilage, with the cells widely dispersed. Okay. And similarly here also we have chondrocytes. Okay. We have the cells, few cells like chondrocyte, which is present in between the collagen fibers inside. And it is a very tough, slightly flexible supporting tissue. And where it can be seen, it is seen in the pads between the bodies of the vertebra. Okay, the vertebra actually it is also the intervertebral disc. Okay, and it's also found as the ligaments joining the bones. Okay, so this vertebra and all this, I will show the diagrams in the next class. Okay, so because without, if I just explain, you won't be able to know what is a vertebra. Okay, so do you know what is a vertebra? No, right? Or yes? Nervous system have nervous system is already started, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you okay, no problem. If you don't know, I will show you the diagram in the next class. Okay, and even the diagram of the ribs and the sternum. So to be more precise, actually, even though you will learn it later in your other units, but still, okay. So in these type of area, actually, we usually found this fibrocartilage. Okay, it is also found as the ligaments joining the bones. Okay. So if you see the third one, it is called as the elastic fibrocartilage. So here also you just, like I have said, just remember here also you can see here also what type fibers we have. We have is the elastic fibers. Okay. And we have a cells. Similarly here also in between the elastic fibers, what you will find is the chondrocytes. Okay. So it is a very highly flexible tissue, obviously, because that is the main reason why it is also called as elastic, right? And it contains lots of elastic fibers. So once elastic fibers is there, that means these type of cartilage, it will be very flexible. Okay. And it consists of yellow elastic fibers lying in a solid matrix, okay, with the chondrocytes in between the fibers. So the chondrocytes, as you can see from the diagrams, it is clearly mentioned. So all those chondrocytes, they are in between your elastic fibers. So where it is usually found, it is the pinna or lobe of the ear. Okay, so lobe of the ear, you know, right? Your ear. That's what is the main reason what happened. Your ear, it is very flexible. Yes or no? You can recoil it. No? Yes or no? Your ear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
This is why,
Yes, ma'am.
because of this elastic cartilage. Actually, your ear is also called as a cartilage. Okay, it is not exactly a bone also because it is very elastic. You can coil it. Okay, you can this thing. So that's why with this our ear is actually it is mostly made of this elastic fibrocartilage. That is the main reason why our ear is like it's not exactly like I've said. It's not exactly a bone also. So it helps. It used to recoil. Okay, so this is usually found in the pinna or lobe of the ear. Then the epiglottis, actually it is a part of your digestive system. It acts as an opening of the food whenever you eat any food. So it is a pipe, okay, which is usually present in the digestive system. And part of the tunica media of the blood vessels, okay. So this is actually about the cartilage, okay. So we have three type in which we have seen is the hyaline cartilage. Okay, so in hyaline cartilage mostly we found is the chondrocytes, then and all the chondrocytes are usually arranged in a small groups. Okay, and this also it also helps in providing flexibility, okay, support, and also smooth surfaces movement, especially at the joints. And the fibrocartilage, apart from the chondrocyte, what it will have the collagen fibers. Okay, just remember this, like I've already said also. So whenever you hear the word fiber or fibrous, always we have is the collagen fibers. Okay, And here is the last one of the last type of cartilage is the elastic. And here what you'll have is elastic fibers. And in between them, you'll have the chondrocytes. So similarly here also in between the collagen fibers, you'll have the chondrocytes. Okay, and this is mostly elastic fibers. It is mostly seen in your pinna or lobe of the ear. Okay, so that's the main reason why our ear we can recoil it. Okay, all those. Okay, so the next is we'll see two more. Okay, this is the bones. Okay, so bones also, when you start your skeletal system, actually you'll be learning we have so many different types of bones. Okay, and so bone cells, actually what happens, so these bone cells, or it is also called as the osteocytes. Okay, these are surrounded by a matrix of collagen fibers, calcium and collagen fibers strengthened by the inorganic salts. Especially it contains, what does it contains actually, our bone contains calcium and phosphate. Okay, and which provides bone with their characteristic strength and rigidity. Okay, and the two types of bone can be identified. We have the compact bone. Okay, so compact from the word itself, these are very solid or they have a very dense appearance. Okay, and spongy or cancellous bones, these are spongy or they have a fine honeycomb like appearance. So for the bones, I'm not going to go in detail since you'll be learning in very detail. We have one specific unit only. We have the skeletal system. So in the skeletal system, you'll be learning all about the bone. But the bone in particularly, actually, that is just this whatever diagram I have shown, it is a simple diagram of a long bone. Okay, this is actually what is there in the long bone. So the covering it is, so it has got three parts: the epiphysis, the diaphysis or the shaft, and the epiphysis. Okay, so the epiphysis on both sides, and in between we have the diaphysis. Okay, so related to the bones, so since you'll be learning again in your skeletal system, but just remember bone is also a part of the connective tissue because it connects the body parts or the body organs. Okay, it connects a part of the body. Then the last connective tissue is a fluid. Okay, fluid connective tissue. What is there under here? It's mainly the blood and the lymph. Okay, so they have a large number of different types of cells suspended in a fluid-bound substances or matrix. So these are usually they are the blood and the lymph. So even if actually that is, and actually the blood, it is a very large connective tissue. Okay, so blood actually it is found everywhere. So it also acts as a connective tissue where it will carries all the blood vessels, okay, the veins, all the nutrients, everything. So actually that's why blood is also, it acts as a connective tissue because it connects, okay, to different parts of the or organs of the body. Okay, so this is actually all about your connective tissue. Okay, so in which we have seen about all those types. Okay, loose connective tissue, adipose tissue, which again it is divided into white and brown. Then your lymphoid tissue, dense connective tissue. Okay, then cartilage, which again it is subdivided into your hyaline cartilage, then your fibrocartilage and elastic cartilage. And we have seen related to bone. Okay, so which I've said, like bone, since you'll be learning more in details, so I'm not going that much. Okay, then the last one is your fluid connective tissue, again related to blood as well as lymph. Also you have separate unit. Okay, the circulatory system, and for your lymph we have is the lymphatic system. So all this you'll be learning more in detail, but just you have to remember that these are also a part of your connective tissue. Okay, so any question, anyone? I hope nobody is confused. Okay, because since it is a big, we have so many types here, so just ask. Okay, if you have any question.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I hope everyone is clear. Okay, so
ma'am.
remember we have just 7 types of connective tissues. Okay, so okay, if I'll then in the next class, that is after lunch, I will continue with the another two types of connective tissue, that is your nervous tissue and the muscles tissue. Okay, so after this we'll be completing with the tissue and cells. Okay, okay. Okay, for now
Thank
I'll
you,
wind
ma'am.
up the class. So please join my class again at 1 p.m. Okay? Okay, thank you
Okay,
everyone.
ma'am.
Thank you, 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 ma'am.